What's up, poker people? This is Funchampion in the house, and today we are just gonna continue the series that we started a long time ago. I thought about it, and all I have are just excuses at this point of time, so I'll just not get into them. I apologize for the discontinuation of the series, variety of things. Let's not get into it. Let's get into the thing that interests us, that is poker and studying it for today. So this is day 3. We are continuing the exercise that we started. We have our notepad, we have our Equilab, and we are set to study, guys. The chat is not up today. I mean, I can see the chat, and it won't be displayed on stream. We'll be setting that up. We'll be setting up the schedule for tomorrow. From tomorrow, we'll be setting it up tomorrow. So hold on for that. Today is just gonna kickstart the, effort that we are supposed to carry on for the coming days. So let's go.
And alrighty, so right now we are doing day 3 of 66 days in a row of hand reading practice. And today we're looking at both ranges, which means I'm basically narrowing my range and my opponent's range. So there are a few different tools you need when hand reading. First is Flopzilla. And because we are looking at my range and my opponent's range,
alright guys, so Flopzilla is due for purchase from my end. I'm definitely gonna get it.
So you need two
just a matter of a
a
couple of days, I guess, so that we can continue to study on our own, and we can all the more reach out in the depth as is explained in these videos. I feel it's an essential tool to get our ranges right, to get our pre-flop game right, and also to analyze the latest reads.
It allows you to use multiple windows. You can
look at lot of detailed stuff. Anush, Dagar, चलिए शुरू करते हैं. Let's go.
Is you want to tie this window into this one, so you just hover.
I mean, these are just amazing tools, like, just pin ranges and pull them in, compare them, put flops, look at the range advantages and how ranges stack up versus one another. Pre-flop raisers range, pre-flop callers range, 3-betting range, and the rest.
We're over it. You gonna connect?
Grab some coffee or something, guys.
There we go. Aces and kings. Let's change the range.
Shouldn't take long.
Queens and jacks. Aces through jacks. Good, good, good. Now we want to tie it into this window. Let's say this window, 5, 6s, and 7s.
Let's go.
There we go, 5 through 7. So now our two windows are tied to hold EQ here. And of course, we're going to end up just, we'll keep that range there for now. It doesn't really matter. But you can see how it works. When you hit calculate, bam, the aces full of jack, or aces through jacks has 81% pre-flop equity versus the 7s through 5s right there.
Cheers, guys.
So that's the first piece of software you need. Second one, of course, is Poker Tracker 4, our favorite. So we're looking at different hands, carbon hands, or the merge network hands that went to showdown right here. And let's see, yesterday we did this hand with pocket 10s. Let's see if it pops up. It does right there. So let's do this ace 10 because the pre-flop action is raised.
So guys, if you have just joined, today the hand reading exercise is going to be for both ranges, that is our range as well as the villain's range.
And, and the actions that we take. So this will be the hand that we do. And now, let's see, just drop that. Got the hand up. The final thing that we need is, and I use this for every single hand reading practice, this is Split Suit's hand reading template right here. And
yeah, if you guys have forgotten, since it has been so long since we streamed the last hand reading exercise, this is a template that is available on Split Suit's website. Link again will be put in the description, so don't worry about it. Pull it up and follow along. For now,
let's get started. The top range right here is going to be my range. Down here will be the opponent's range. So of course we know that I have ace 10, but we want to look at my range as a whole based on my pre-flop and then my actions through the streets. Oh, wait a second. 878 97274. Don't recall the date.
Let's go.
Should have looked. 7/15. Oh, it's just a couple days ago. Or no, a month ago. 2 months ago. Wait, we're in September already. 43. And SB calls, who is a 43-0 player. Wow, super loose passive. This is great. SB calls, super loose passive at 43-0 over 55 hands. That's great.
All right. So action so far is button opens with ace 10 suited, and we open pot and small blind just calls a loose passive.
Flop
so
comes down, whatever it does, and we'll do the turn. River.
What that means is they have been calling too many hands
and, then,
and not playing them aggressively, playing them very passively, just calling. If somebody is being aggressive, they're just calling.
So we've got the ace 10 suited of hearts. We can see that he folds to steals only 44% of the time. It's only 4 out of 9, but it's really not often at all. This guy is calling with a super wide range. We probably want to keep aces and kings and maybe even queens out of his range because he might 3-bet with those. It's only been 55 hands, so we'll take the best hands out of the range right there. So first off, for our opening range in the on the button here, let me take a look at the opponents I'm stealing from. This guy doesn't fold that often. He doesn't fold that often at all, but I do have position on them. Big Adam 3-bets 9% of the time, and from the big blind 3-bets 9%. So I can expect a re-raise from him, a 3-bet from him quite often. So that's going to constrict my opening range just a little bit. I won't be opening with the weakest hands.
All right. So that's another thing that I'm picking up these days is if we try and observe while playing tendencies of players, like if we are on the button and if we raise and the small blind instead of calling is almost every other orbit, if they are raising, their tendency to 3-bet from the big blind is definitely higher than usual, because most people at lower stakes, as we see, they are happy to call and look at the flop. They don't want to put chips in unless they have a really good hand. Obviously aces, kings and stuff like that, they would like to put in chips, but even then there is some sort of notion especially in our population, to player population, especially at lower stakes, middle stakes, to just call and go to the flop. Probably they want to trick, hit something big and then go for a big bet or a re-raise or something like that. Be a little bit trappy, be a little bit sneaky. That tendency I've seen significantly more at the lower stakes. I am not yet a regular at the mid or the higher stakes, so I can speak for the lower stakes. And the way most of these analysis of these hands continue is assuming the player is not horribly bad, as in they would definitely raise aces, kings, queens, probably jacks. This kind of assumption initially used to throw me off, because I've very easily seen people, just call with aces, call with kings and whatever, and then when you hit a top pair and you're going aggressive, they just call, and on the river when you go for another perhaps value bet like 30% pot or 50% pot, they just jam the pot and you have no idea they actually have kings or aces, and probably that gives them a certain kind of a high or a kick, which they encash sometimes, but a few other times it also can backfire, because if you play slow and if the opponent is on to something, like me, if I make 2 pair on that board, like if I have king queen suited and if they have aces and there's king and a queen on the board and they keep playing slow and jam the river, they are gonna get stacked off and then gonna complain that their ace got cracked. But that happens, and you have to just if they have it, they have it. That's what they say in poker, so you have to go with it. So this particular analysis, aces through jacks being out of the range, is significant in terms of proceeding and funneling the range into hands going forward, like Sky does. So let's just follow along.
So remember, my range is the top window, the bottom one's down here. So we'll say I'm opening 20%. Let's go with every suited ace. Let's go down as far as 9-7. Let's kick it up to 7-6 suited. King 9 would be in my raising range, my open raising range, not King 8. Not when I can expect so many 3-bets, And I would probably just stick with this. I would open off 10-9 offsuit to keep that in. Actually, I come to think of it, I do like having a little bit more suited connectors in my range. So I'm going to say that this is my pre-flop range, 322, 24.3.
That is significantly different in a way that there are a lot of offsuit combos in his range as well, while suited combos are not as many as I would think, especially on the button.
Gonna have a pretty wide calling. Whoops. Gonna have a pretty wide calling range right here. So a call 2-bit range of. I mean, we really could go this wide. Maybe not. Well, actually, we can go this wide. Let's put those in his calling range. Let's put these in his calling. Queens are better. Ace queen suited. I mean, he's so loose passive so far. Hasn't raised a single pot. Let's just put him on a super nitty 3-betting.
Yeah, that's something I like. When putting them on a range and when looking at their stats, if even if we are not looking at their stats and if we see their behavior through 2 or 3 orbits, that they are just calling all the bets, they are never raising. In that case, it's quite prudent to not put ace queen and ace queen off in their raising range. So that makes a lot of sense. And all of this seems a little bit too loose to me, even though they are super loose. All this is fine. Probably I would put in these hands. I mean, if I were to do it by just my uh, uninitiated understanding in hand reading, I would put in offsuit sevens before I put in all these junky kings. Probably a little bit of offsuit connectors as well.
Range right here. So we've got him at 56%.
Already at 56%.
Let's actually do this. He's so loose passive. He's calling every suited hand. Let's say he's not going this low. Let's give him a little bit of.
All right. So again, I don't believe, although theoretically, if we see it's 55%, which is his stat on the HUD, like he plays 55%, but I don't feel he's gonna play 6 deuce suited. I don't think he's gonna play 5 deuce suited. Although I have seen 5-3 suited because they busted me when I had aces day before yesterday. But although I see that, but I don't think people are playing all these kind of 10-4 suited. Is anybody playing 10-4 suited or 10-3 suited? I don't think so. That's 10-6 suited, probably 10-7 suited and all, probably, but not 10-4, 10-3, 9-4, 9-3. All these hands are too small and too disconnected to be playing. Except for their suitedness, I don't see the point in including them in one's range. Let's continue.
Say he can control himself just a little bit. 55%. It's pretty darn wide. I think if a guy like this looks down at 9-7, he could be calling that. 6-5 could be calling.
Yeah.
Let's stick with this right here. Yeah. Let's go with this range. So 752 combos. Control Alt.
All right.
752, 56.7. It's a lot of freaking combos on the guy's range, that's for sure. All right. So, pre-flop, before we open up or take a look at hold EQ, what do we want to...
All right. One significant thing to note, guys, is because we start including offsuit combos in the range, you can see that 24 to 56 is probably just 2x, but you see the number of combos increase not to 644 or 650, it's 750. So that many more combos just because we have a lot of offsuit combinations in
a lot of freaking
combos
on the guy's range, that's for sure. All right. So, pre-flop, before we open up or take a look at hold EQ, what do we want to... A big part of hand rating practice is kind of understanding ranges, of course, but then you also want to think about the equities of range versus range. You could see that he has a super wide range. He's only missing, only 5 of the best hands that we do have in our range. I think at this point, when we compare these two ranges, we're looking at roughly 60% equity.
All right, let's do this exercise on our end as well. Let's pull up Ecolab. and let's use a pen and put in some ranges. You guys can see this. Cool, super cool. Clear matrix. Let's just put. Okay. Probably this is my opening range from the button. Suited nines. Let's go. I'll write this two. King jack off. Yes, why not? Ace 7 suited. Probably ace 5 suited. King 8 suited. Probably not. And like this 10-8 suited. Okay, I think this is the range that I'll be comfortable. This is also 15% range. They have 23%, 24% range. I would probably stick to a tighter range if we are what do I say, if we are opening versus somebody who 3-bets a lot, then I'd be wanting to go ahead with this so that I can continue with a lot of my range and not fold too many hands versus their raise. All right, I just say okay, and let's give them also a loose range. Let's clear this. So like they said, it was pretty loose. I don't think people are gonna play this. Let's say suited broadways are fine. Not this, not this. Okay, not this either. Yeah, probably not these. Yeah, these can make straights and stuff. So 7-6 off. No, not from the small blind, I think. Let's go. Okay, so what I think is this is 50% range. That's what I'd give them. Even though they are opening 55%, I would refrain from assigning too many of these hands to their calling range in the small blind. And yeah, I would choose to be this tight. I don't know, feels wrong right now because there's just too few hands here. Probably I'd also include these to have some folding range as well. And that's pretty much it. Probably force apply. Okay, so let's continue with the video and let's see what their outcome is
at this time. 58%. Okay, 58% equity isn't. It's pretty darn good. It's not as good as it could be, but I bet.
All right, so let's focus. Even if we assign a slightly tighter range to ourselves, like 20%, 17%, and slightly tighter range to them, eliminating obvious offsuit junk and some amount of suited hands, then 58 to 40% is pretty close to what they have as well. So not too far off. Even
if we removed,
even if we edit the ranges, bases our understanding. So let's continue and see where our analysis ends up and where their analysis ends up.
Not that we would, but if we remove those kinds of hands, copy that so I could put it back in. I bet our equity would be like 62%. Oh, just a little bit higher, 60%, which is still better. Yep. But let's put this equity back in. Bam, hands return right there. Good. So we've got 50.
Just showing off
58%
right now.
equity at this point. Great.
With those tools.
So the holy Stromboli. Oh my God.
What a flop.
Can we? What is it possible to flop a better flop than that?
Yeah. If there's a jack of hearts.
Is that even something? Holy cow. King and queen of hearts. That's amazing. And then the jack of diamonds.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Dude, we have We have like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, we have the it's just an amazing with the ace 10 right there. So just looking at the ranges, our range has oh, there's the equity right there. 63% equity versus his range on this flop. It's a great flop for us. We of course we have every Broadway. We also have those nutted Broadways, or not nutted Broadways, the ace king and the pocket kings and queens, where he doesn't have those in his range. So we totally nailed this flop. We have 63% our equity versus his. Our hand itself though, holy cow, flopping the nut flush or the straight flush draw as well as flopping a straight. We just killed it right here, and he's the perfect player. We're in position versus a loose passive player on a flop that hits his range really darn well. Let's take a look at his range. His range is right here. If we just look at yeah, let's just look at open-ended straight draw better, all these combo draws. He hit this 46% of the time, which is lovely. That means 46% of the time we should be getting paid off at least a little bit with some value bets here. He's obviously folding you know, maybe not ace highs, but all of his weak pairs, middle pairs are probably folding on such an ugly board, unless he has a middle pair plus a draw. And we can actually, because he's so passive, we can say he has that as well.
Yeah.
That is great. So we are getting value in this hand. He checks to us. We bet a buck. Standard, just trying to get value out of the guy. This could be viewed as a bluff or as a value bet from him. If he hit any part of this, he is continuing for sure. And he didn't raise. So let's look at our range first. What is betting on this board? Obviously, we already have the straight, so we know that we're betting that. He's so loose passive. I'm betting any hand right here just to start to build a pot to get value out of the guy. So set, straights, two pair, over pair, top pair. Now, this is an ugly board. What are the middle pairs? All the various queens. Well, all those queens have their pair plus a...
All right. So let's see in our range that we have assigned. Have we missed anything too much because of the way we have selected our range? Let's just pull up. All right. So we see queen 10, ace queen. We still have all of those. There's no doubt about it. It's just that we miss queen 10 off. We miss queen 10 off. I see. And also queen jack. Those two pairs, those we miss. And apart from that, we have as many decent value hands as there are on this board particularly. All right, so let's continue.
It's a gutter. Yeah, so let's put all those in. We're definitely betting that. We have position against loose passive fish. He could be calling with a bottom pair jack kind of hands here too, quite possibly. Weak pairs, probably not betting all of those. We're going to bet some of the draws, so we'll keep those in a little bit. Ace highs new. Well, yes, actually, we would be betting ace highs in this instance because it has a gut shot, plus the fact that I raised pre-flop, just I might be able to steal it right now with at least just a 4 big blind bet. So I'm going to put those in my range. Those gut shots there, all those aces, the king 9, the jack 9, all the different 9s, those are kind of ugly gut shots. Let's not put all of them in the range.
Makes sense. You don't want to be the lower end of the straight.
And then the king 9 has a pair plus a gutter. Everything else, yeah, good. So we'll put the gut shots in, but we'll kind of minimize it just a little bit here. And then all those combo draws, great. So if we look at it right now, we took our range from, what was it? We could look here, I don't even remember, 300 and something, 322 combos, down to 198. Pretty good.
All right, so let's do our analysis. What are we doing? 198 of... All right, so straights, over pairs, aces, kings. These are sets, obviously. These are all betting. Ace 10 off, obviously, is cool.
Good, pretty good change right there. So 75%.
Okay, wait. Okay, so let's remove 10-9 off. It's not even there in our range. 7-8 suited. There's only one combo that we're gonna use from this. Yikes. Okay, how are we supposed to do that? Okay, I messed up something. Sorry, guys. Okay, so 7-8 suited, just one combo. From that, we'll just proceed like that. Okay, and we are not betting with king 9, not betting with queen 9.
198. Pretty good change right there. So 75%.
Nines, you're not gonna be betting all of these. No small bets going in.
Oh, I'll enter that stuff in a sec. 75% of the previous range and 198. 198 combos.
All right. So we started with a strong range. So I think. All right. So Piyush Ravi has a thought. I thought we can range bet small against passive players on this board. Yes, we can. And he's just explaining what part of
And
the
you can
range
see,
we can.
yes,
Let's just roll
plus
back to it.
the fact. Weak pairs, probably not betting all of the.
Yeah, so weak pairs. Why do you want to be? Hey, bro, been waiting for this. Sorry for the absolute heap of excuses that I can throw, but I'm sorry for not continuing it, and we are intending to continue it tomorrow. I'll be out with the schedule. I'll be getting the chat on-screen display and all the goodies. But today we had to just restart it. 19th of April is as good as any other day. So let's just roll back and let's talk about what we can small bet.
Quite possibly. Weak pairs, probably not betting.
So when the board is king, queen, and jack, uh, if the opponent has caught on to anything, we don't have much incentive into betting the smaller pairs into a loose passive player. That's what I agree as well.
All those, we're going to bet some of the draws, so we'll keep those in a little bit. Ace high's new. Well, yes, actually, we would be betting ace highs in this instance because it has a.
So what we have been doing, what I understand from what he's explaining is we are going to bet our premium hands and draws. Apart from that, any smaller pairs, any lower pairs are just marginal hands. So marginal hands and junk, that is 5-6 suited, 7-6 suited, probably not of hearts, is just gonna go into check fold mode, in my opinion as well. There's no merit in betting those.
Gut shot, plus the fact that I raised pre-flop. Just
also understand that we are talking about a loose passive player. They are not a tight player. They are not going to fold. They would love to call. So if you are thinking that a small pair can just bet and scare them off, that's not happening. We can only beat them with a good holding. Very rarely can you actually size up so much that a loose passive guy is going to fold. So these kind of guys, you can't bluff them. So probably one of those.
I might be able to steal it right now with at least just a 4
It
big
makes
blind
sense
bet.
to
So
go
I'm going to put
in
those in my range.
with a
Those gut
good
shots there.
winnable hand
Well,
to
all
show
those
down.
aces, the king nine, the jack nine, all the different nines. Those are kind of ugly gut shots. Let's not put all of them in the range.
So you see, we are also eliminating the junkier part of our draws by not including the uglier end of the straight, that is the nines. Like we can hit a 10 and make a straight on the board. But also we are still keeping a few nines and in our betting range, so it's not completely out. So part of it is going out. Like these hands are definitely going out. Ace 9 is a beautiful candidate to bet small, but not so much 9-8 suited, because it's gonna only develop a lower end of a straight. If they have ace high, we are toast.
Jack nine has a pair plus a gutter.
Sorry.
And then the king nine has a pair plus a gutter. Everything else, yeah, good.
Where's
So
it?
we'll put the gut
Back.
shots in, but we'll kind of minimize it just
Okay.
a little bit here.
Okay, cool.
And then all those combo draws, great. So if we look at it right now, we took our range from, what was it? We could look here. I don't even remember. 300 and something.
Yeah. So that's the point. I hope we all
98.
Understand?
Our bet on this flop did
As much
limit
as
our
we
range
can.
a little bit because I'm not bluffing and just c-betting 100% of the time. I'm c-betting right now from what...
All right, there's the answer. I'm glad you asked the question, Piyush, and we tried to answer it, and Sky himself has also answered the question. They are not c-betting their entire range.
What we did, we ranged it down. I'm c-betting 75% of the time, which is great. That's a really good percentage right there. It is
Nice.
exploitable by somebody that wants to check raise a lot, or check call, then donk lead, or check call, then check raise the turn kind of thing. But I think that's really good. Oh, the flop came down here. King of Hearts, Queen of Hearts, and Jack of Diamonds. Your range is equity. I think it was 60 on that flop. It was 64 and then 36. 64 or 63, one of the two. Close enough, though. So now, what are they check calling on this range?
Oh, this is interesting.
He wouldn't necessarily be afraid of a flush draw, so he could check call with a straight to string us along on one street, and then maybe check raise the turn when we double barrel. It's possible. Sets, he's so passive. I think just about anything other than like a nut hand might be the only thing he would raise here. Everything else, weak pairs. Various tens right here. We'll include some gut shots, so let's take those out. Ace highs. They all have a gut shot. He's loose passive. Let's say he's calling with all of his ace highs in this instance. Flush draw.
Yeah, we have seen plenty of such loose passive players, right? Who have 3, 5 suited, and they see 2 hearts or even 1 heart on the board, and they are going to call. They're going to see if they can, make a flush by the river and just take your stack, laugh on their way to the bank.
Draws open-enders, gut shots. Those are all calling at least one street because he's such a loose passive player. Well, let's not say those are calling just because they're 2-card backdoors. Yep. So he's actually calling 75% of the time. So this is great. We're keeping a huge part of his drawing.
All right. So I'm gonna do the same exercise. Okay. You guys can already see I've pulled it up. These are not in his range. Let's say they chose to at least be a little bit sensible about it. 8s and 8-7 off. Let's say they are just gonna fold all of this. I mean, not check call all of this. With a small bet, they're gonna fold. They're gonna keep all their aces for their gut shot. All these pairs, they're gonna call, especially with hearts. And let's go.
Range in with this small 4 big blind bet. 496 combo, 75%. So
all right, guys, so interesting thing is here also we have about 488 combos. So we start off small and we end up seeing that we agree with the range for the most part on the flop, post flop actually. So we started off with a tighter range, and here as well we ended up with about 150 hand combos. So that's good to know. Their assumption is people start off wide and they fold a lot, which also happens actually in our fields. So let's continue and see where this goes.
We can see his range is just still mega wide.
Yeah.
Control Alt T to just
mega
pop up
wide.
the range
That's
real
nice.
quick.
I like it.
If you don't want to hit Control Alt T, just hit this range button too, and then Control C to
show up.
Yeah. What was our percentage? 76% of our 75% of our previous range. Yeah. So we both only lost 25% of our ranges. Great. So with these ranges, he has plenty of draws in his range, which against our range, we have plenty of draws too. 65% equity at this time.
Yeah. See.
Which is still pretty darn good. Perfect. So the turn card comes. A deuce of spades. Oh, that doesn't change anything. But now there's only 1 card remaining in the deck.
Yeah.
So the 2 of spades. My guess is on a 2 of spades turn, our equity is going to go from 64 up to 69%.
65, 66.
2 of spades, 69% equity. 67.5.
Nice.
67, so his is 33%. Lovely. So let's see what happens here. He's probably checking just about 100% of his range, unless he flopped a straight for himself and now he doesn't want us to check behind and he doesn't want to lose value. But he checks, which is almost 100% of his range. 375. So because that board, wow, look at that bet. So I am going for max value here. I'm putting this guy on the kind of hand that can just call and give me maximum value. I love it. I love it right here.
So
I love that size bet. Because that flop,
probably
if we just take a look at the flop, okay. King, Jack, Queen, he decided to call. And he has so many broadways. He's got 2 pairs in his range. He's got top pairs. He's got second and third pairs. He's got flush draws. He's got straight draws. He's got gut shots. Got everything. I'm going for max value. I freaking love it. And then he raises, which, you know, we've got the nut flush draw. The only thing we're scared of, scared's not even the right word. The only thing that we're kind of concerned with is that he could be betting on a set. He could be raising his set right here, trying to charge us for our own flush draw or straight draw kind of a thing, and he could catch on the river. That's the only thing we're scared of at this point, you know. But we decided to bet. So if we look at it from his perspective, what are we betting here? That's the first thing we want to narrow.
Nice.
We are betting when he checks to us on the deuce of spades turn. We're betting our.
What does he think we are betting? It's very interesting.
Straights. We're betting our sets. We're betting our 2 pairs. Betting the overpair, which is just the aces. Yeah. Betting our top pairs. We could actually pot control with the overpair, but we've got the overpair plus a gut shot draw with, or a 1-outer. I mean, a 4-outer, I guess you can call it, wanting a 10. We would probably still be betting that overpair right there. Top pair, and they're all kind of draws or top pair, top pair plus a draw. We'd be betting them. Middle pairs, I think I would bet again. We've still got the open ender. The queen 10, ace queen still has a gut shot. Yeah, betting the mid pair. Weak pairs. I think I'm pot controlling with all of these weak pairs. Ace high, pot controlling, checking behind kind of a thing. Gut shots, well, some of them are top pairs, so yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, so this is what we are. Yeah, I think this is effectively what we are c-betting or double barreling right now, which is 82% of our prior range.
Interesting.
82%.
So, what are we double barreling? Probably just not ace jack off. Yeah. This is a marginal hand because it's now only going for a gut shot and has the lowest pair on the board, so becomes quite a marginal hand and okay to fold, I guess. 9s as well folding, and everything else is fine. Still going ahead with 262 combos. What? No, 197. Now 161, 142 is what we have. Okay, cool.
And then 161 combos.
Let's go.
Now their turn range. So on the turn right now, yeah, that's right. This is his range. So he decided to check and then raise big. Was it an all-in or just close to all-in? It says 775 behind?
Okay, cool.
Oh, so that's exactly 4x, right? 15. Okay, exactly 4 times. So he's raising for value. He's not bluffing. He's a super loose passive guy. He is doing this for value at this time.
Don't you get scared? 82% of the prior range is betting
2 pair, probably just.
Yeah. I think the point is when we start out pretty tight, we fold a lot fewer hands, in my opinion. And if the board sometimes runs out like this, well, 82% of prior range is betting pot on turn. Looks like so. And sometimes you just are, you know, so well set on the board, and the brick actually does not change anything. So it's time to extract maximum value. That's what I understand from it. That's the reason 80% of the range is betting pot on turn.
Scare us off of a flush draw or like a pair plus a gutter, pair plus a draw, I would say. Over pairs are not raising. Top pairs are not raising like that. Flush draws, open enders are not raising like that. We are going to constrict his range big time for going from so loose passive to aggressive on the turn. He could have turned like a set of deuces right here. and just stayed in beyond the flop. I've already removed the deuces from his range, but
still,
it's possible he did. So let's say right here, wow, crazy. We took him down to 14% of his flop range, which is hardly anything, which is just value hands. It's all he...
Oh, that's super interesting. They choose to check raise, and that has to be super, nutted portion of his range. I don't believe any of those jacks are going to do it, so we remove those. Makes sense. Probably tens are there or not there. Sky doesn't think they are there. We can remove all these junky ends because they are not going to check raise, in my opinion. The flush doesn't get there. If flush got there, then probably a lot of these hands would have also check raised us quite a bit. Again, no queens, no offsuit jacks are going to do this. Kings, probably only the two pairs and the 10 off. I don't know, 10 off could be. Probably I've seen people barreling off with top pair and a gut shot like that on the turn. So I'd keep this in. Again, ace jack off, not going ahead. Ace queen again becomes a marginal hand because there's a king on the board and it's only second pair. All right, king queen is two pair. This makes sense. Makes sense. Queen jack makes sense. Queen 10 probably they would, but it's not suited. It's gonna be of some other suit which is not on the board. Let's at least remove all these clear hands. King jack, king 9. Let's remove this. And okay, king deuce probably can stay. Queen deuce. Queen deuce, okay. Jack deuce, I don't think Jack deuce is playing, but Jack deuce of hearts, sure. If they have it, they have it. And probably most of these are also gonna go home. Ace deuce is not gonna check raise. Doesn't make sense with a gut shot. Again, marginal, and yep, this is it. Let's go.
He's doing, or trying to scare us off of a draw with a two pair. That's how he would look at it. Scare us off of the draw. So I'll say 14%, 67 hands.
Nice. It's also interesting to think in terms of what they want to achieve with that bet. Do they want to call or do they want to fold? If they want to fold, it's clear they are afraid of something getting better or something like that. So it's quite, I know it gets complicated from this point onwards if we start thinking what are they thinking when they are betting this. But I think it's very important to ask that question because on the river, if you see a 30 or 40% bet, you would think it's a value bet instinctively versus something that is overpot jam, which is polarized, which is often a bluff or nuts. So a lot of chances that it could be a bluff if it's overpot bet versus the amount of chances that it has to be a bluff when it's like 30%, when people are very likely to call. So in short, when we see a small bet, when you see a rightly sized bet, it's made to get a call, which means that they are kind of sure, our opponent is kind of sure that they have the best hand, and they are only betting that last one bit to get those many extra chips from you. So it's very interesting to see people bluffing with that sizing, because that immediately tells me they have a decent hand, and only if I think I have a better hand I should go for it. If it's something like a jam on the turn or jam on the river, things get polarized.
All right. Now my guess, I hope I just reshove. Good, I do. And of course he calls right there. It makes sense. I'm not going to enter in my turn range. This is my...
Let's go.
Pot-sized bet turn.
Coffee?
Pot-sized double barrel turn range. Not the 3-bet reshove range. just to clarify it for when I go back over this sometime in the future. Oh, LT Maximus, hey, thanks for watching, buddy. So, villain thinks that a hero has top pair or two pairs, but from passive re-raise it means sets or straights. Agreed. So, so as it stands right now, with the flop, with the turn action of mine and the turn check raise of the villain Trinity, 21-24, and we have these ranges set right here. Yeah. So when we just look at range versus range, not knowing that I have ace 10 suited, just looking at range versus range, our range actually has 32% equity. So that means we're only going to win 32% of the time. So you can kind of think of it as we're folding roughly 70% of the time. So his bet, while it might look bad, it might look like a bluff gone wrong or something, because he doesn't know we have the nuts with the redraw to a better nut hand. When it looks at range versus range, his range is killing our range right now. We just happen to be at the top of our range for making this call.
Interesting.
So let's see what he ends up having. See if we have it. And then we river the nut flush, so we get it for sure. 9-10. Oh, he flopped a straight. 9-10 offsuit.
Nice.
And looking at his range, 9-10 offsuit is in it. Great. So we.
Well done. 9-10 offsuit is in his range, very much there. And yep, he went with a junky draw and got punished. Guys, this is why you should not overvalue the lower end of your junky draws. No, lower end of your draws, which could be second nuts, but second nuts is just not good enough. Otherwise, it would be called first nuts.
Successfully ranged him. We took him down from, based on the actions, from 750 hands pre-flop to 67 hands. So we've removed over 90% of his range by the turn right here. So this was definitely a successful hand reading, and it's pretty interesting seeing our play right here. We did keep our range pretty darn wide from pre-flop to the flop to the turn, because a lot of our range, because that turn
wow, so we really had to be on the top of our range. Anything apart from ace 10 off literally was gonna get smoked with that loose passive player's game. That's quite interesting. If you're going with ace king or ace king queen even, it was not gonna be enough in any way. That's super interesting to note. Let's look at our range again. Let's see if we can. Okay, so all these things are definitely goners, but yeah, that's exactly what we are talking about. Wow. Epic. So all these hands were set to lose pretty solid versus their particular hand, also their range. Very, very interesting.
Because that board hit us so well, we have a wide range when we're pot size betting right there on the turn. So I really like my plays, and I got max value out of the guy. He flopped that under straight to my straight. I'm sure he was stoked as soon as he saw that, and he probably shoved. He didn't think we had a higher straight. He probably put us on, just like you said, LTU Maximus, top pair or two pair hand, or even a set that he just wanted to charge us max value to draw out on the river. So he thought he was going for value. Yeah. He wasn't bluffing right there. That was a value.
Piyush, I agree. But I doubt if they are actually thinking in terms of blockers. But even if they are, that actually, makes it worse for you. If you think 10-9 off is a blocker towards ace 10 suited or ace 10 off, and you think that they cannot be having the better draw, that actually puts them in a worse place. So ignorance is bliss in that sense. You would probably go all the more fist pump jamming into it. And yeah, even if you know lesser about the blockers, still you're happy with what you have and you just want to get the money in. Unfortunately for them, we had the better end of the straight, and which is why we stacked them. Otherwise it was easily them stacking us off.
You bet on his part. But ended up having better on that board. I love that hand. That was a really good hand. So everybody,
Yeah,
thank you very
because
much
you
for
won.
watching. Well, before I conclude it
Nothing.
like
I'm
that,
just kidding.
so this
It
is
is not
one.
about winning or losing. I keep on repeating all the time. It's about understanding the process, understanding the ranges, putting them at a good set of hands, and probably finding them there with their actions and relating those actions with their hand strength, the way it is interacting with the board, and more importantly, what do we listen in terms of what they are saying with their bets, with their checks, with their check raises. So our check raise is always strong, most probably yes. Do people have enough bluff check raises? Probably yes, because we have seen a lot of people folding to check raise and then jams from us. So uh, while a lot of it is unknown, now I think we are slowly making progress in terms of gauging what villain could have, what we should have, how we are continuing. Like Piyush Ravi made a point, 80% of the range is betting pot on turn. Yeah, because right now the board is such that it demands that much of our range betting into the pot sized. Very interesting. I think food is ready. Very interesting, and
One of the
I think
reasons
this
why
pretty much
you do hand reading
conclusion
for not only your
of
range and the
today's session.
villain's range, but also comparing range versus range. Because as you're doing it, you're kind of learning and seeing how equities change based on how ranges change and the
Indeed.
different boards at the time. So this kind of work, and then constantly asking yourself, what is our equity on this flop? What is our equity with our range versus his range on this turn? If you just keep asking those kinds of questions,
Yeah.
and before you actually take a look at this or take a look down here, if you kind of think to yourself, what equity do I have in this spot right now? And just make a guess, 63%, 45%, and then check. Just the more kind of practice you do, that kind of work will just ingrain its way into your noggin, and hopefully it'll translate to better decisions on the felt because you're analyzing situations just a bit better while you're playing in the middle of them. Oh, LTU Maximus, thanks for that question. On the page right there at the top of the page, you can see the videos clip. It has videos and then the number 3 because I have 3 prior videos practice with the villains range once again.
All right, guys, this was brilliant. Let's pull up the notepad as well. We have notes. All right. So these are the goals that we have decided for ourselves. Develop opponent ranging in game, better understanding of ranges and equities of those playing ranges. How much of their range are we ahead of? Like, this is one key question I am asking myself these days whenever I am playing practice games, or just watching stream. Even how much of their range are we ahead of uh, our hand as well as our entire range? Our hand is comparatively easier to think of, yeah, but our range is still a lot fuzzy in my head. If we want to think how is our range doing versus their range. All right, form a good study routine. All right, that's clearly something that we should be doing. Yeah, I gotta do this. All right, guys, so I think after we have discussed all of this, we will be coming up with a study routine. Sorry, a stream routine. All right, so let's just put up a few goals. One is schedule for hand reading. That will be doing tomorrow. The chat on stream, that is another action item for me. And third one is probably 1 week goal of get Flopzilla. All right, so that's one of my goals. Let's see when we reach all of those. Let's hope we reach these two goals tomorrow and this goal within a week. All right, guys. So this is it, and we will be continuing the series from tomorrow onwards. I'll publish the schedule tomorrow onwards, so I'm accountable. If you guys want to improve your game, I suggest this is one area that you can start looking into. 20 minutes a day tops, uh, 40 minutes if you're following with me on the stream. But we'll be talking about it. We'll be talking about the ranges. We'll be talking about what we think about it, and I'm sure it will help. Perspectives do help you learn a lot faster. That's what I've learned so far. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye.